Hey everyone, I'm Mine, and today I have another new Ninjago book to share with all of you, and I believe this came out a few months ago. But this one is called 5-Minute Ninjago Builds, and I believe it's a spin-off of a previous book that they've done in the past, which was just 5-minute LEGO builds, but these are builds specifically focused on Ninjago. This is, of course, one of the books that actually comes with LEGO pieces, and it seems like there's going to be lots of different builds in the book. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to build all of them in this video, because it sounds like there's over 100 of them, but I'll definitely be doing a few, because yeah, it's only 70 pieces, and there's supposed to be 5-minute builds. But I have no clue what all is in store. I haven't opened up this book yet, so I thought we could just explore it together, build some of the builds, and I can give you my overall thoughts. I bought this off Amazon, and I believe it was like $16. I think it's technically $19.99 retail in the US, but stuff like this goes on sale all the time, which is why I was able to get it for slightly cheaper. So without further ado, let's just get it open and see what's inside. So I think we pull up on this tab right here to get the parts out. There's a little bit of tape as well. There's like these huge sheets of cardboard in here that I could just pull out. All just to get to this tiny little blister. I feel like there's probably a better way they could have packaged that. That was pretty annoying to get to. But whatever, you can see here's all the parts right here. It seems to most be red and this azure color, as well as a little bit of black and gray, and then this one tan piece. And just like many other LEGO books that come with like actual product, the first like half of the book is basically nothing. It's just entirely containing that blister. So the actual book inside is not a hardcover and it can be removed. And you can see now it's significantly smaller than it initially appeared. So now let's get in here and turn to the first page. You can see on the front they're advertising a few of the different builds. We've got like this blue dragon, the Destiny's Bounty, which is pretty cool, as well as the Samurai X mech. Then we have the table of contents, so I guess this is all the different builds in the book. Chapter 1 is awesome vehicles, Chapter 2 is amazing gadgets, Chapter 3 is dragons. That's actually kind of interesting that there's multiple dragons. I don't know how many different dragons you can make with just these parts, but I'm very curious to see. Then we have Chapter 4, friends and foes. And then finally Chapter 5, extraordinary places. Okay, this is pretty neat. It gives you like the terminology for like all the different pieces that you get. So if this book is given to like a kid who's new to LEGO, you learn what a brick is, what a slope is, what a plate is. I guess there's not any tiles in this set. But I think for someone new to LEGO, that can actually be very informative. That makes me happy to see. But now we are at Chapter 1, Awesome Vehicles. Ninja love amazing vehicles. Build the vehicles shown or create new ones. And remember, Ninja can operate any vehicle, so you can make your models drive, fly, or float. It's showing you a few of the things you can build right here. And then here are the actual instructions for the Destiny's Bounty, and yeah, these just seem to be standard LEGO instructions. It does show you what the final model looks like right here. But I think this will be one of the builds that I do in this video, because the Destiny's Bounty is pretty iconic. So I feel like it would be a disservice to not at least show it off. Okay, here's the mini Destiny's Bounty all put together, and I mean, I think it's alright. Honestly, I'm a little underwhelmed by it. I thought it looked a little bit better in the pictures than it does in hand. That being said, this is like a 101 build, like there is many things made out of these parts, so I get that they can't go too crazy with it. I do like the technique they use to attach the sails. That seems a little bit out there for a book like this, but yeah, it's certainly a cute idea at the very least. And I think it is clear what it's supposed to be, even if it's not entirely perfect. Alright, let's keep flipping around. Ooh, this is pretty cool actually, so you can modify it to be the Black Bounty instead, which is a pretty deep reference back to Season 2 of Ninjago. I actually wasn't expecting that here. The Black Bounty is not something I've thought of in a very long time. That's actually really neat, so there's like multiple variations on each build. Then we have a little activity where you like lose some pieces in the whirlpool and you have to try to make a boat. I like that too, that's a fun, cute concept. Got Skybound J here too. I thought they chose to use this suit of all renders, but I mean, hey, it works. I guess it fits with the whole, like, pirate ship theme. And then we have a ninja sailboat. I don't think I need to build this one. I think you guys can see it. It kind of reminds me of the catamarans from the island, and you could probably fit a minifigure on like this one. So I guess potentially a minifigure scale build here. And then this is very similar to the catamarans from the island. And this is cute. Like, even though it's giving you an exact example, it's also encouraging you to build your own things with the parts, and giving you, like, prompts or inspiration. Here we have a Wheel of Misfortune. This is, I guess, like a little spinning top you can build. Okay, it's only a couple parts. I guess I will put that together. Sorry, Destiny's Bounty, it's time for you to come apart. Alright, I don't know if this is gonna work, because the book's on a bit of an angle, but let's see. Yeah, no, the angle doesn't really work. But I suppose I could just spin in my light box like this. And this is cool. It's a few more inspiration builds based on different, like, sets from Ninjago. We have the Raid Zeppelin from Skybound up here. Obviously, this is a very different color scheme, but it still definitely harkens back to it. Like, I could definitely see that set in this build right here. Then Prince Kalmar's Underwater Chariot. Again, I can definitely see that. And then finally, a much smaller version of the Black Bounty. And then here we come to another full instruction page, this time for a jet fighter. And this, to me, looks a lot like Kai's plan from Rebooted. Though it does seem like you could build it in blue as well, or in multicolor. And the blue's somewhat similar to Jay's Stormfighter from Season 1. And then we got some cool cars. These are really funny looking. Obviously, the set does not come with any wheels, so we just got like these clips on the side with studs on them to be wheels instead. It's interesting that they managed to do one without any blue or red on it. Like, this would probably fit Cole, and in fact, you could probably use the microfigure Cole from the Ninjago City Markets if you wanted to. Here we have another ship that's just somewhat of a different take on the Destiny's Bounty. I don't know if it's exactly supposed to be the Destiny's Bounty, but you can see there's definitely aspects of it, like the wings at the back. And that's meant to be the final build in the vehicles section, so that gets us to the next section, Amazing Gadgets. And I guess in the context of this book, a mech is considered a gadget and not a vehicle. So of course we have Nia Samurai X mech, and this one they call a double power mech. I don't know if that's a specific mech from the show or anything, or if it's just like a new thing for this book. And then we also have a drone. I think I will do the Samurai X mech, because yeah, that's pretty cool. However, interestingly, this is not one we get instructions for. This does seem like a pretty easy build, so I think I can do it. Let's see, though. Alright, here's the Samurai X mech all put together, and I adore this one. This one is so funny. The proportions are just so goofy. You got like the studs at the top right here, like the giant flat head, and the body's just a big old tube. But there is also some articulation, right? Like I can move the arms forward and back, as well as move them in and out in these clips, and even the hands on the end I can pivot. I think this actually fits into like a standard LEGO collection. Obviously it's very silly, but I could see this as like a drone that Pixel built or something. Like a little miniature mech to fight with a ninja. I don't know, I think of everything we've seen in the book so far, this is my favorite one. If I wasn't making this video and I was just keeping the book for myself, right now this would be the build that I keep together. I mean, just look at it, how could you not love it? It's so cute. Anyway, getting back to the book, turning to the next page, here we have a very simple little mech, which is absolutely adorable. It's just got a sword sticking out the side, and then a slightly more advanced version of it. And then finally, there's that bigger mech that we saw on the front. And yep, these are the instructions for that bigger mech. Don't think I'm gonna put this one together, because while it looks cool, I think I prefer the one that I have, and I think you guys can get the gist of it from the pictures here. Though that's pretty neat that it has like places around the back to hold the swords. This does actually look pretty good. Not sure how I feel about the feet, but the body and head and arms and everything, that's really great shaping for such a small build. Here we have a fearless mech, and I think most of these are just completely original for this book. I don't think this is like referencing anything from the show. But this is really cute. That looks to be like a penguin mech. This guy just has big old swords and giant arms. Interesting. This is them trying to build Zane's Falcon, which I think is a great idea. In execution, I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily looks like a falcon. I think these are really cute builds. It's just little like flying drones. But Falcon, don't really see it here. But you know what? I'm just happy to see Dr. Julian mentioned it all. Here we have a Super Scout drone, which seems to be somewhat similar to the plane that we saw in the last section. And then this seems to be a similar build but in blue, and it's got like these cannons at the top. That's a fun touch. Then we have some specialized drones, and we've got 4 different ideas here, and it sounds like they're all supposed to have their different specialties, but I'm going to be honest, they all look pretty similar to each other. Interesting, this is a challenge to build something using only half the parts in this set. Either these parts or these parts. And you can see it gives you 2 potential ideas right here. And now we come to chapter 3, the dragons chapter, and this is probably the one that I was most excited for, because little tiny dragons are always adorable. And right off the bat, yeah, I mean they are. Like, look at this. Is this not like the most perfect LEGO build you've ever seen in your life? He's so basic, so simple, so goofy, but just so adorable too. Like, look at that little face. I know it's just 3 LEGO parts and it's got no printing, but that's just the cutest thing I've ever seen. Golden swords for tails too, yeah, I love it. This guy up here actually looks pretty good, and this one looks pretty chunky. I think this is the one I want to try to build. Here's the page of that first dragon though, and it's supposed to be a water dragon. This page is about like unique traits you could give your dragon. A neck like a giraffe's, more than one head. Powerful wings, a spaghetti long tail. I actually really like this one. It has 2 heads, a gray head and a blue head, and it's got a really long body too. And this dragon could be called Pancake because it's so flat. I think we need some fan art of Pancake. I think he needs to become canon in the show. Ah, but here's the instructions for that big dragon that we saw on the first page of the dragon stuff. And this is actually meant to be the fusion dragon from season 7. I didn't even notice it had 2 heads before, but yup, it does have 2. So now I'm going to take apart the Samurai X mech and put this together and see how it turns out. Alright, here's the fusion dragon all put together, and honestly, once again, I love this one. This is probably my favorite build so far. Yeah, I think I like this more than the Samurai X mech. Once again, just super cute, but also there's quite a lot going on here. Just like the actual fusion dragon, there's 2 different colored wings and 2 different colored heads. We've got the water head and the fire head, but there's also a lot of articulation here, like the wings can actually move. Same thing with the heads on the sides, you can even move them in and out if you want, and the legs around the sides can be flipped up too. The alternating swords at the back too gives a really cool look and works perfectly as a tail. The only part I don't love is like the slope pieces for the back legs. I feel like they just don't work the best, but again, this is a very limited parts palette because this is like 100 builds in one, so I can totally excuse that, and if you want to modify that with parts from your own collection, you definitely can. But yeah, I mean, it's a simplistic interpretation of the fusion dragon, but I think it looks amazing. Really, really fun one. Honestly, if I don't see anything else in this book that like I really want to build, this might be my final build of this video just because I want to keep this together, but we'll see because I know we have 2 more sections to get through. Anyway, now back to the book. Here are the next 2 pages. It gives you the idea for a few more fusion dragons. I really like this one. He's just long and thin. It's so funny looking. Oh, and I guess the idea is you could build both of these at the same time, and then it wants you to combine them into one fusion dragon. And I guess this is meant to be that fusion dragon, and it's got like this huge like brontosaurus neck. Very silly, but a lot of fun. This is cute. It wants you to build a dragon that like grows older over time. It gets bigger as it grows older. So you can see this one's like small, has no wings, tiny little head. Then it gets tiny wings, the legs grow out longer. And then finally it gets taller and has like full-fledged wings with swords on the end. Honestly, if this book had come out when I was a kid, I know I would have spent hours playing with it. Like there was other LEGO books similar to this that like came with parts, but they weren't weren't like the whole 5-minute builds thing, and I spent hours upon hours playing with those, just rebuilding those parts. So if I had all these like ideas and challenges to do, I would definitely spend so much time with this. And the fact that it's Ninjago themed too definitely helps. And now we get to Chapter 4, Friends and Foes, and ooh, this might actually make me take apart the dragon, because we got some snakes here, and I do love snakes. This, I believe, is meant to be Firefang from Season 11, which is really cool. And then we also have a giant scorpion, which this reminds me of like the small LEGO creator sets I'd get as a kid. I feel like we don't really get creator sets of that size anymore. I guess there's a few. There's like $10 sets every now and then. But yeah, I don't know. The scorpion build reminds me a lot of classic LEGO. And when I say classic, I don't mean actually classic. I mean 2000s classic, because that was when I was a kid. Anyway, here are the instructions for Firefang. And do I want to build this? I kind of do, but I also don't want to take apart the fusion dragon. But also Firefang, that's pretty cool. I do like snakes. Maybe we'll go through this entire section first, and there's nothing else I want to build more. I'll go back and build this guy. Oh, that's really funny. It gives you ideas to like add on to the snake tail to make it super long. That doesn't look the best, but it's definitely a long snake tail. Or wait, this is meant to be the Great Devourer. Okay, I don't know if that necessarily works, but obviously it's pretty hard to build the Great Devourer without green pieces. I guess they're just taking the concept of the Great Devourer is that it devours more and becomes bigger, and this is it becoming bigger by devouring the rest of the parts. And then here's the instructions for the Scorpion, who I do really like. However, he's not particularly Ninjago themed. They mentioned Krabby, who I believe is the crab from Season 8 that they fight, which is a cool reference. I'm glad they're calling back to something, but I don't really feel like this is a great representation of that. Really good build, but just not one that I'm personally interested in building right now. That scorpion tail did turn out really cool though. And yeah, it tells you that you can detach his lobster tail. Here is XXL Opponents. And these are like mini builds of stuff we've seen in the show. For example, the Iron Doom from Season 7, the Crux Necronics pilot, as well as Garmadon Stone Colossus from Season 9. Obviously this is a very funny color scheme for it, but I could kind of see what they're going for here. And then this is meant to be a Stone Warrior, which is also pretty good. I feel like that actually kind of works. And I think I will build Firefang, but let's get through all this first in case I want to build any of these locations, because we have Extraordinary Places. This is a training center and it gives you a few different like training things you can build. That's actually really cool. Another thing I would have loved as a kid, like I loved building training courses for my ninja, so if I could have like rebuilt the same set into multiple training courses, I would have really loved that. Then we have some training dummies, and this one's actually shaped like a snake, which I also think is adorable. That's probably another one of my favorites of this entire book. And this one's more of a samurai themed dummy, which is similar to what we've seen in the show. This is like a little shrine to hold a sword, but also maybe a little storefront. That's actually pretty cute. I especially love like how the roof turned out. We have more sword storage, I guess just more weapon racks. And then we have the relaxation zone. This is a shrine, this is a fountain, this is the bench, which I find really funny. Not that it's a bad build by any means, but just the idea of spending $20 on this book just to build a single bench and just be like, yeah, that's what I want to keep. I don't want to build anything else. I just want the bench. That's just a really funny idea to me. And then finally, we have an ancient temple, which I don't think it's any specific ancient temple from the show, but it just could be any of them. Oh, we're not done. There's one more page it looks like. The Ninja Dream Vacation. We've got a very tiny boat build right here, which is absolutely adorable. This is the hot tub in the courtyard. And then, ooh, that's a good way to end things. Chen's chair. Very cool callback. That's actually pretty tempting too to build. I think I'm going to build Firefang because that's probably my favorite looking thing in this entire book. But Chen's chair is really cool too. If I didn't already have Chen's chair from the Chenosaurus set, I would definitely build that. But that's a really, really cool callback to see here. And then yeah, that's the end of the book. And of course it ends with, remember Master Wu's words, real ninja always clean up after they're finished playing. So true, Master Wu, so true. So that's most of what there is to the book, but before I finish things off, I'm going to take apart the Fusion Dragon and rebuild it into Firefang. Alright, and finally, here's Firefang all put together, and being completely honest, having it in hand, not as good as it looks in the picture. Probably should have kept the Fusion Dragon together, because I think that one was a bit cooler, but I do just love snakes, and Firefang is one of my favorite, like, full-size Ninjago sets ever, so I felt like I just kinda had to try this one out. I do think it's potentially worth expanding upon, like maybe adding a sword to the tail, that could be cool. Gives it a bit more of a shape. And I do actually really love the design on the head. I think that turned out fantastic. You even have like a little tongue right here using the Among Us piece. But yeah, the overall build feels a little thin. However, again, that's okay, because this is the same 70 parts that's used for 100 different builds in this book. Of course, not everything is going to be exactly perfect. And there we go, that is 5-minute Ninjago builds. So overall, what are my thoughts on this book? I think it was pretty fun, honestly. Like, I did definitely enjoy putting all those builds together. And there's tons of possibilities with this book. Like, if you really like building Lego, but you're on a bit of a budget, this could give you hours upon hours of fun, because there's like ideas to build your own things, specific challenges and design ideas, but then also full instructions, as you saw. Definitely calls back to a lot of Ninjago's history too, which makes me happy to see, such as like the Black Bounty. I wasn't expecting them to mention something like that, and like Dr. Julian too, and Zane's Falcon. However, all that being said, this is still $20 for 70 pieces. Yes, you could find it on sale, but even 70 pieces for $14 and no minifigures at all is not the best deal in the world. So I think this book's like especially good like as a gift, especially for like a young kid getting into Ninjago for the first time. I feel like there's a lot of fun to be had with just this one book. However, for older collectors, there's probably better ways to spend your money out there. Not that this is bad by any means, like if you like the idea of just having, hey, these are a couple parts that can build into a lot of things, you'll definitely enjoy this. But if you're just a Ninjago fan who likes collecting all things Ninjago, I don't know, there's probably more interesting things out out there for you for this price. So I think it depends on who you are as a person. You might love this, you might not. But for what this book's trying to be, I think it does a fantastic job, and I would love to see more stuff like this in the future. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!